Welcome to the Cool Fireman Podcast, a virtual firehouse kitchen table with What's a Rolfie, Unky, Fireman 1231, JDB Cubed, and Fireman Freddy. Let's get to the show.
Welcome, guys, to episode 5 to the Cool Fireman Podcast. I'm Nick, also known as Fireman 1231. I got all my cool cats and friends here. We got Freddie, Doug, Unky, and the Niner Bang Bang guy, Ralphie.
Bang bang. How's Christian?
Niner gang.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Christian McCaffrey's doing good things. But anyways, let's dive in. So today's topic, we're going to talk about maintaining physical fitness and cooking health conscious, flavorful, yet staying within the budget economy meals. Now, one thing I've always said about it costs money to go on a diet. And while that is being true, there is the internet's out there. There's ways to eat healthy, eat good, put good in your body, and still not break the bank. So I'm gonna we're gonna go around the table here. We'll dive into the cooking aspect because that's the number one thing we do at a firehouse. We cook. So Doug, we're gonna start with you. Yeah, I know. Spark knocking over here. But tell us if you're trying to eat healthy or cook healthy or cook something somewhat better for the company. What's your avenue?
It's pretty simple. Is you cook a protein without a lot of oil and butter and stuff we like to eat. It's pretty easy to eat healthy. You just cook a lean protein, some rice, maybe a salad. I love a salad. I love steak on salad. I prefer steak, but just try to stay away from sodium and the heavy fat dressings and that kind of stuff. But it's pretty easy to eat vegetables and meat and make it flavorful without it being ridiculously unhealthy. It's not hard to do. It's so much more flavorful to cook with butter. I think we all agree with that. But it's pretty easy not to. I mean, there's a lot of olive oils out there that actually add a lot of flavor to your food. And there's a lot of seasonings. Unky's being one of them. His garlic and herb seasoning is no salt. Dano's is very low. Is Dano's low sodium or no sodium?
Low sodium. He's sea salt.
Okay. But I know Unky's garlic and herb is amazing. And it's no salt. So, I mean, it's easy to flavor that stuff with good. There's just so many seasonings out there now, especially low sodium and no salt to make them, add some flavor to it.
Yeah.
That garlic and herb is 10 times better than your Italian seasoning, in my opinion.
Absolutely it is.
That's my opinion.
Yeah. I agree 100%. Matt, you're probably the subject matter expert on this. I don't know if we've talked about your recent light duty issues. Maybe you could elaborate on that and lead that into the conversation since you've probably had to change your diet recently.
And also, he's from California. And they eat different.
Yeah, and I just made him eat tofu.
Yeah, he's the only one that doesn't like tofu.
West Coast is the best coast. But yes, I've been off duty since October. I had a heart attack at work. I don't really think it was because of my cooking, but it's whatever, stress and familial stuff. But yes, I have had to become a little bit of a subject matter expert on dietary stuff. And my cardiologist states Mediterranean diet is the best. And that's basically everything that you guys are saying, low fat dairies, chickens, salmon, no red meat, but if you do, very light amounts of it. So once or twice a month is not bad. Try to get a lean cut if you're going to do, ground beef or whatever. But I do a lot of salmon and I do a lot of chicken. And then I just don't really add salt anymore. Try to keep my blood pressure down. That's really your big thing is salt adds volume in your blood and that's what brings your blood pressure up, puts more strain on all your organs. So that's the skinny of it.
Water follows salt. So
Huh?
Water follows salt.
Yes. So Mediterranean diet is what I try to follow. I use salmon a lot. It's not super, it's less expensive than buying a steak, and you can use it on rice. You could use it on salad. You can use it on skewers. It's like Bubba Gump. You can do everything you can with shrimp that you can with salmon. So
you can make a salmon salad.
Yeah, salmon salad's amazing. And then you can use all whatever you want. You could use Unky's Cajun seasoning on salmon. You could use his Elizabeth salt, anything. It doesn't matter. All of his go well with salmon. So I'm a huge salmon fan. We eat a lot of that at the house now, especially. I was a huge red meat and potato guy. I love red meat and potatoes. I could eat red meat and potatoes every shift. And we eat a lot. A lot of tri-tip. We do a lot of tri-tip. You guys eat a lot of tri-tip out on the East Coast?
Mm-mm. It's not that big and popular on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm. No, I've got a buddy in Nebraska who smokes it all the time. They eat a lot of it.
It's huge here. And yeah, I smoke it and then we'll reverse sear it at the end. It's really good. And it's not, it doesn't typically cost as much as a ribeye, but it's pretty good. So that's kind of my tips. Mediterranean, stay away from the red meat and the dairy and the salt. Sounds shitty, actually not that bad.
Yeah. One thing I want to add to that before I turn it over to Freddie, talk about the sodium. A lot of the meals that you prepare, like if you're making, let's say, chicken noodle soup, a lot of meals can tend to be oversaturated with sodium. You don't realize it. Like if you use the carton chicken broth and it's just regular chicken broth, well, it's already got sodium in it. Yeah. So if you pour that in your pot and then you're adding salt, you just added more than your daily intake of. I'm not saying you need to cut out salt altogether. My daddy, he tried to cut out salt altogether and he was cramping real bad. So, I mean, you do need some sorts of sodium in your body. Yeah. That being said, not everything needs more salt because you need to read the label on your packages when you put your canned goods and your broth. Know what's going in your food, but just keep that in the back of your mind. All right, Freddie, take it away.
Yeah, with that being said, too, you've salted and unsalted butter that you can toss into things. I think it's typically good to just use an unsalted butter and then taste and season as you go. For us, if we're looking to maybe be a little on the healthier side, we'll do like a salad with some grilled chicken. We'll throw like some sliced almonds and some cranberries in it or something like that, where you're hitting all the food groups that you're supposed to hit in one meal. We talked about last episode, portion control Paul or whatever his name was, where everybody gets like 3 peas in a little scoop of mashed potatoes, and then that's your meal. But it does go to show that when I'm at the firehouse, I'll have 2 turkey and cheese sandwiches and 2 cups of soup. But when I'm at home, I'll have like 1 sandwich. So for me, there's no reason that you need to eat that much while you're on shift. Especially since, I'm sure maybe not that every department has a guy who, eats a lot, and then you kind of try and remind him like, hey man, I wouldn't eat more than your mask can hold. Let's just say that right there, because
that's what I was going to say. That's the old adage.
It's inevitable that you got a pan of tots, and you look at it and you're like, all right, if everybody eats like 10 more tots, we won't have to have leftovers to throw them away. So everybody's shoving them in their mouth, and then multi-fire dwelling, multi-fire, and you're and you end up fertilizing somebody's front lawn.
Yeah, that happened to me, and it was July, and Doug, Unky, y'all know summers in the South are brutal, and I ate a whole plate of sesame chicken and Chinese food, sesame chicken and rice. Ate the whole thing in July. 30 minutes after I eat, we get paid out to a barn fire, and it's getting it's going. It's rocking and rolling, and that was a rough day. It does not taste good coming back up.
Hey, on the salt thing, real quick, just to put a little perspective, one teaspoon of salt is 2,300 milligrams of sodium. And your daily value, I think the doctor wants me to stay under like right at 2,000. So that's just a little perspective on salt.
That's correct. Wow, that's crazy.
That's the little spoon for those keeping track at home.
Unky, you got a seasoning brand. Tell us about what goes into your thought process when you're developing these seasonings, even because you do a lot of your testing at the firehouse, don't you?
Yes, I do a lot of testing at my firehouse. I'll come up with a seasoning at my house, and it passes my wife and my son. Then we bring it to my firehouse, and we just kind of run it through there. I do worry about sodium because a lot of your seasonings already out there, they're either loaded down with salt or they're loaded down with sugar, one or the other. So people that are, let's say, diabetic, they want to stay away from the sugar. Well, if you're probably diabetic, you probably have other issues where you don't need to be around the salt, because usually they're always one or the other. The current 4 ones I have out now has 0 sugar in them. The garlic and herb is the only one with 0 salt, and I've gotten more sensitive with salt as older I gotten, and I try to watch it when I come up with my recipes. But when I'm cooking at the house or anywhere, I always buy unsalted butter, reduced sodium or no salt chicken broth. I use chicken broth with everything. And because you can always add salt, you can never take it away. That's the hardest thing. So I tend to pack it all with, the other flavors, other seasoning flavors. And I'll let you put the salt on, because you may like a lot of it, or you might not like it hardly any at all. So
I think that touches on last episode when Nick's tip was about fitness and stuff. I mean, it's pretty obvious that cardiac issues are our number one problem in the fire service. And where does that come from? High blood pressure, high cholesterol. So
yeah, low fitness. It's easy to sit in a chair.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask y'all something. Do anybody here have that guy or gal, when they get their plate, they sit down before they even taste it, they reach for the salt?
Yep.
And just
really.
And we don't have that at my company. We're pretty somewhat health. We're not total health nuts, but we are somewhat health conscious. I know for the first time the other day, I had something. You ever heard Monte Cristo? How do you say it? A
Monte Cristo sandwich.
Yeah.
Made famous by Bennigan's.
Yeah. I never heard of it before. And the guy on my company, his name is Ignacio. I said, what do we have? And he said, Monte Cristo. I'm like, what in the same hill is that? And it's basically a sandwich, deep fried. I'm like, no way.
And then you dip it in grape jelly.
He's like, dip it in grape jelly. And I'm like,
yeah.
Oh my God, this is heavenly. I mean, this can't be good for me, but I wasn't thinking about it at that point.
I think it's ham, turkey, and Swiss on a sandwich. Yep. And then you batter it, you deep fry it, slice it in half, dip it in grape jelly.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But I think we just lost Ralphie.
He's got chest pain. Nitro.
It's like fair food.
It is fair food, basically.
I never knew it. I've never seen it at a county fair or a state fair, and I've been to quite a few state fairs.
It's big not on a southern thing, Nick.
So we got to mark it. All we got to do is put it on a stick and deep fry
everything.
That's right. Good. Put it on a stick, deep fried.
I don't see how it's not a southern thing. It's fried.
It's deep fried.
Well, we get deep fried corn, deep fried Oreos, deep fried ice cream,
butter.
That's actually really good. We had somebody that was at the state fair. It was a joke, like deep fried butter, and I'll take 2. I dipped it in some ranch and tremendous.
Don't serve that at the firehouse, though.
Yeah.
No. All right. Let's lead this into working out. What do you guys do? What do you guys do?
Dive into fitness. Unky, take it away.
Like fitness whole pizza in my mouth? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I can talk about that. No. I usually go to the gym when I'm off duty for about 30 minutes, just try to get out and do something. At work, now I'm that guy. I'll watch you. I'll go to the gym. I'm going to the gym and talk to somebody, walk right back out. We got a couple guys that are into it. We are allowed an hour to work out, and I don't got much to say about it. I mean, look at me. I don't do that much running.
Well, let me ask this question before we go around the table here. At your department you work for, the equipment that is, because most departments provide exercise equipment, this, that, and the other. Is your equipment not so up to date, but up to par? Is it good equipment? Are you given proper resources to do exercise, or is it just kind of hand-me-downs that people have either brought in from their house because they were going to throw it away, or it's risky business?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, y'all see where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
So
who's got the cement covered in plastic weights still?
cement buckets?
No, they're like they're like
weights.
plates. They're plates. They're made out of cement and they got plastic around them.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. No, our department buys some of your workout equipment, and since we're on a base, we have a gym, so we kind of get their hand-me-downs, and it's just like getting a hand-me-down from Planet Fitness. It's still very new, well taken care of. They just had new money drop, and they bought new equipment, and they immediately called the fire department, and we go in there and pick whatever we want. It's nice. Fantastic. We are in the process for my department, my local area. We're one of the first ones with the Navy on the East Coast that's going to start doing the IFF Peers Fitness program.
Yeah. So
we're slowly getting that process with that, getting our trainers together. So I really look forward to that. So we all be on the program.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's super important to work out. I could go on for a long time talking about this. Our department is very fit minded, but there are always guys and gals in the fire department that think that it's more important to do paperwork in the morning than it is to do PT.
Mm-hmm.
But a majority of our guys and gals will do an hour of PT every day. It's very important to maintain your health, and obviously we have to be in good shape. You guys run a fire and you're carrying 50 pounds worth of gear, and then you're doing hard work breathing air, so it's very important to keep up your fitness. We do a wellness every year, so we get our blood drawn. It's offered to us by one of the local colleges, so it's huge benefit for us that they do all this. They come in and they do a treadmill test for us. We do stretching. We measure our stretches. And it's very beneficial. That way you can see every year, whether you're getting better, worse, staying the same. So that's always great for us. I mean, we don't ever like doing it, but it's good for it.
When you talk about getting blood drawn, made me think, does anybody get tested for PFAS or PFOS?
Mm-hmm.
No, we get physicals every year, but I don't think we draw for that or whatever.
You got the Q water though, right?
Y'all know what that is? The PFOS and PFAS?
I've heard of it. I don't know. I couldn't tell you what it is.
Freddie?
Yeah, that's what's. Yeah, it used to be in the firefighting foam.
The AFFF.
You gotta get rid of the AFFF, all that foam. It's causing some nasty stuff in some firefighters who have been exposed to it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm not going to dwell on the whole foam thing. We can do that for another episode with cancer. But yeah, we get tested with PFOS and PFAS and everything. But anyways, I was just curious if anybody else got it tested.
Does anybody have a fitness incentive that their department offers? My first department, twice a year, every year, you had the ability to. There was 3 levels. You could get gold, silver, or blue. I don't know why it was blue and not bronze, but it is what it is. Gold, silver, blue. And then based on your age, 20 to 29, 30 to 39, 40 to 49, 50, whatever, you had those 3 levels within each age group, and you had to run a mile, certain amount of push-ups, certain amount of sit-ups. So within that, you had to run a mile. If I remember correctly, like for gold, for the 30 to 39 age group was like 60 push-ups, 60 sit-ups, and an 8:06 mile, I think, or maybe a 7:30 mile or something like that. And you could earn up to $1,000 a year for just staying fit and, and coming out and doing it. And it was kind of a bummer because you'd go out to this fitness incentive and there'd be like, out of a 28-man department, there'd be like 6 guys there doing it. And I mean, to get blue in the 30 to 39 age group, you had to do like 40 push-ups, 40 sit-ups, and run like a 9-minute mile. And there was guys who were like, I ain't going out there doing that shit. Anybody else have any type of fitness incentive?
We had an insurance thing, something to do with our insurance a while back. I don't know if we still do or not. I know we used to.
I think that's a great thing. We've been fighting for that in our department to get an incentive to do that. I mean, it keeps you healthier, I mean, I don't know. It's a great incentive for them. I mean, it would keep us out of the hospital, not using from the doctor,
time.
not using our insurance, which raise rates. I mean,
Yep.
It's kind of a win-win. Your firefighters are healthy and you're paying less money. I mean, at the end of the day, but
that's kind of the best thing about this podcast that we're doing is, hopefully across the nation, everybody's listening to this. Maybe you've got union board executives who are listening and they're going into negotiations here in the next year, 6 months. Bring it up with your city. Hey, we're looking to get a little more physically fit. We want to, use less sick time, whatever, X, Y, and Z. Would you be willing to, even once a year, $500 if we can complete this task? I think fitness needs to be something that everybody stresses. I think it's a lot easier to sit in a chair than it is to get up and go walk on a treadmill. But we all got to do it because, unfortunately, this is a job that can sneak up on you at any minute. And whether it's your ticker or whether it's a job, whether it's job town.
You can never prepare too much for a job that can kill you.
I was trying to stay away from that KILL word, but
nah, it's okay, Freddie. We're men.
We are men.
We're adults.
Promo.
We had incentive. I think this was a one-time thing. We had a competition. It was like a weight loss competition, and each shift had a competition. And if you won, then you got first dibs on vacation. And it sounds good. But then some of your 20-year plus guys, I think somebody got cut out on Christmas. And I mean, I'm just saying,
my seniority doesn't mean anything.
Yep.
If I've been there 6 months and Doug's been there 25 years and I got Christmas off because I won a competition, and let's say Doug was on vacation, he didn't get to participate in the competition, and he don't get to go home to his family for Christmas. Yeah, I mean, I'd be upset too. That being said, we had a thing one time where are y'all familiar with MEPS, what it's called, where you run on a treadmill and you reach your target heart rate, and you have to maintain that target heart rate for X amount of minutes, and then it comes to
stress
anyways.
test.
Yeah, basically. If you didn't get, I think the NFPA is you need to have above a 9 MEPS. Some of our bigger guys failed it, and they tried to write them up or say you're not fit for duty. Well, they went to their primary doctor and says, my doctor says right here that I am fit for duty, so you want to try it out again. And it was a fiasco, so they had to X that out. But, Doug, I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
We're talking about physical fitness here, and do you have any creative ways? Creative ways of physical activity?
All right. First off, let me start with this. Stop talking about the West Coast. The GOAT is in the room. All right. Now, I know at one of my previous assignments, let me start with this. Some guys are just not going to do it. especially guys with some tenure, they're like, no, no, I'm not doing it. That's fine. But I know at one of my previous assignments, we would do, you guys are familiar with the deck of cards. It's kind of a CrossFit thing where each suit would have a different exercise, right? And you'd shuffle the cards and you'd pull a card, and whatever the number was, you do that number of whatever the activity was for that suit. Face cards have something different. Aces have something different. You put the jokers in there as well. And you'd go through the deck 2 or 3 times. I'd draw one, then Freddie draw one. I'd be doing my exercise, Freddie doing it. And you just rotate through the deck, and each man keeps pulling a card, and you go through the deck 2 or 3 times. It kind of keeps it interesting. I think the biggest issue is the guys that are going to work out together. I've got a guy at my station. He is a freaking ox. He loves to lift. He lifts heavy. For me, I think he lifts heavy. But he doesn't mind working out alone, but he'd rather work out with us. I say with us, I've been slacking big time, so I'm back on it next week after the concert this weekend, because I'm probably going to drink too much. But if you've got guys on your shift that are interested in working out and do want to work out, do it together. I think that keeps the most interest. You got some guys that just aren't going to do it, Nick. That's what it comes down to.
Right.
Yeah.
But if I bring out a plastic bat and a wiffle ball, do you think that's going to get them off their chair?
Yeah, and in some cases it will. Yeah, I mean, cornhole, wiffle ball. Yeah. We used to play some wiffle ball at the station every now and again. When it's nice outside, we'll play cornhole. We don't do a lot of basketball. Too many injuries can come from that.
Yeah,
and that's a bad call to the chief right there. But yeah, anything, even like Freddie said, even if you're just walking on a treadmill, do something every day.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to go out and jog. I don't like to run. My knees don't like to run. Put it that way. But get on the treadmill, get on the elliptical, put the treadmill at 5-7% incline, and just walk for 30 minutes. That's helping. Anything's better than nothing.
I had a captain try to get me to do yoga. I said, I'd rather run till I throw up.
Oh man, yoga's good.
I know it's good, but
yoga's got a lot of supporting documentation, man. There's a lot of good benefits to yoga, and I mean, it's not something I'd probably get into, but I can see the benefit of it.
Sarah Beth, YouTube.
It's kind of like pedicures, Doug.
Hey.
He likes those too.
I do like a pedicure. I like a pedicure.
I ain't getting no pedicure.
As a golfer, I probably should do yoga because it would help my flexibility.
It help at everything.
Yeah.
During the warmer days, we actually go out because my base, we're kind of split in half in the city. We got some nice beaches. So we'll go walk on the beach, especially after storm stuff.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. I know where you're at, Unky. You ain't. It's not a nice beach.
Not about as nice as Myrtle.
It's worse than Myrtle.
Man, it's like a huge private beach. It's awesome. There's hardly nobody out there. You just walk around. We'll take a little our UTV out there and we'll go walk. Sometimes there's a space where they actually have the public will come out and they got lifeguards. We'll go out there, check it out, things. So that's one thing we do during the warmer months, get out and walk around. That's everybody.
What do you guys know about beaches?
Okay, fair enough.
We got Carolina's the most beautiful. Carolina had the most beautiful beaches.
Okay. No, they don't, Nick.
Yes, they do.
As a man who's been to the Caribbean and the Gulf, no.
In the United States, I'm not talking international.
Nick, the Gulf is in the United States.
I feel like this is an entire podcast topic in itself.
It is.
When you said the Caribbeans, I'm like, okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've always been a mountain guy. I'd rather have the mountains than the beach. There's those people. And I always said that until I went to the Caribbean the first time, and I was like, this beach I can do. And then I went to the Gulf, and I was like, this beach I can do.
Give me the lake, baby.
But yeah, of all, I'd rather have freshwater. I agree, Uncle.
Yeah, you don't have no alligators, no alligators in Lake Gaston, bud.
That's
no
right.
shark
That's
attacks.
Hey, I grew up on Lake Gaston.
I don't know. Give me that salt air on my skin 10 times out of 10.
I think that's a good place to stop, Nick. We kind of went off topic there. So like I said, Freddie's right. We can make a whole topic out of that.
Yeah.
We're all over the place, but that's amazing because that's the best part about this virtual kitchen table.
You took that bingo. This is the kitchen table, man. This is how the kitchen table conversation goes.
Bing, bing, bing.
So you got a recipe for us, Nick?
Yeah, I got one. My old hamburger steaks for rice and gravy.
Nice.
Just get you. You're gonna take 3 pounds of hamburger meat, 80-20. You're gonna patty them out, make sure they're good. We're making hamburger steaks. You're not having hamburgers on a bun. So patty them out. Get your stove or use cast iron. I prefer use cast iron. You're gonna give it a good sear on a high heat. Make sure there's oil in the pan. Sear them. Put them in your like a cooking pan. Like you're gonna put it in the oven.
Like a
Once you do that, then you're gonna cut up your onion into strips. You're gonna throw that in the pan. You're gonna give them a good saute. You're gonna throw a tablespoon of butter in your pan. You're gonna deglaze all those beef drippings and chunks in there. And you're gonna throw that in your oven, your cooking oven pan. Once you do that, you can make your own gravy. I'm kind of a cheapskate, so I just use old packet gravy. Warm your packet gravy up on your stove. When it gets nice and warm, just pour it in over your beef and your onions. Put it in your oven about 300 degrees for about 2.5 hours, give or take, and about 2.5 cups of rice. You're done. Voila.
Nice. That sounds delicious.
It's very good.
Yummy.
Make sure to see
healthy.
Throw some Unky seasoning in it or some of that yum. Get you some Danos.
Yeah.
I
think he owes us $1 for that.
Yeah. The Unky garlic and herb goes great with it. Dano's original, also great. Elizabeth salt. I put the Elizabeth salt on my eggs the other day. That was really good too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you.
But that's my quick and easy recipe.
I think I'm up for the rookie tip for this episode. So, one thing, when you get into a new department, I've done this twice now, so I've had to make sure that you know the area in which you respond. If you're in a bigger department, you got to kind of know your district. If you're in a smaller city like mine, it's 4.7 square miles. Wow. Within your first, 6 weeks or so on the job, make sure you know where all the streets are. Make sure you know the address breaks, and try and not use in your first 6 months, 8 months, year. Try and not use the technology maybe that everybody else on the fire department uses. If you have MDTs, if you guys use bricks, Active 911, whatever it is, a lot of times it pulls it up and it shows you exactly how to get there. It's my suggestion to you is pull out a paper map, pull out Google Maps, whatever you're going to do. You got to learn all those streets in your area, because the last thing you want to do is pull out of the station and turn right when you're supposed to turn left.
You sound like that teacher that says you won't have a calculator everywhere you go.
Yeah.
But you're right. You're right. 100% right.
Who's laughing now, Miss Durham?
Jesus.
That's going to be a good subject. I like it.
I like it.
All right, Nick, looks like shift change.
The
What you got?
heartbeat sound like Sasquatch feet.
All right. We'll catch y'all. I got the road.